Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mike and Jay Talk About.
We're both in the dentist's waiting room again.
We're back.
Decided, hey, let's talk about a movie.
Hot damn!
Let's talk about the biggest marketing blunder in the history of Hollywood.
There wasn't a marketing blunder because I saw it on Vudu. I said, what the hell is that?
It's always good when a movie that just came out in theaters like 2 weeks ago is already on all the streaming platforms. We're talking about Cobweb, a movie that we both really loved. And it came out, it was released by Lionsgate. And they put it out the same weekend as Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Great decision.
And it's a Halloween movie, and they put it out in July.
Would you call that counter programming?
Well, I think that was the idea. It's like, oh, it's counter programming because the audience for Barbie isn't going to be the audience for this movie, but then the audience for Barbie turned out to be everybody, and so then your movie just flopped hard. They barely marketed it. The only thing I can think of is they wanted just a very limited theatrical release to maybe build some hype for an eventual digital release, which would be closer to the fall and closer to Halloween. I don't know, but nobody knows this movie's out.
The release dates are planned well in advance, so it's like maybe the September, October area was like really packed.
I think there's a new Saw movie coming out that'll probably be big, so maybe.
Because sometimes it's like strategic to slip a horror picture in a random time, because some people might be like, hey, I'm sick of watching Indiana Jones Adventures and Mission Impossible Adventures. I'd like to go at night and watch a horror picture late at night.
And be home in under 2 hours.
And yeah, exactly. And not have like a nightmare experience of crowds and popcorn and people farting and pooping on you and barfing and eating nachos and pizza on your lap and old ladies falling in front of you and farting.
And that's just in the lobby before you even get to the theater.
That's just in the parking lot. So it's like, yeah, I enjoy a nice late night movie, a horror movie. So maybe that was the thinking. I don't know.
Well, they very prominently on the poster, it's like from the producers of Barbarian. And I think they were trying to be like that.
Confuse people with Barbie?
Maybe that too.
The producers of Barbie!
Barbarian.
Yeah.
I was wondering why there was so much pink on the poster for this film.
And also from the producers of It. Well, that's pretty vague. And from the co-executive producer of The Thing. Well, that's also pretty vague. I got jokes for days.
Yeah.
No, I watched this movie. I saw it show up on Vudu, and I watched the trailer. I'm like, I'm in. This is like exactly my style of horror movie, although I was skeptical because I didn't read reviews. I just saw it, and I was like, this trailer's great. This looks great. But there's some knocking on the walls. It looks like it could suck. You ever see that movie called, it has Daniel Craig in it. It's called like Spooky House or...
Oh, I vaguely remember this movie existing with Daniel Craig.
It had like...
Ghost House or something House.
Spooky House, the house with walls in it. Or it had some name like that, and it was like zero...
Glass House?
No, that's different. It was like a 1% rating, and it was like horrible. I thought it was okay. It was like sort of dull, but I was like, okay, this could be a movie like that. But then I watched it, and it was my favorite movie I've seen all year, maybe of all time.
Oh, that's not true at all.
It's in my top
500.
There are many things about it I like, which we'll talk about. But I told you to watch it, and you said I'm going to stick it to Lionsgate, and I'm going to watch this in October, like it was meant. Like
It already flopped, so I was like, yeah, I heard it's a Halloween-centric movie. I'll wait until the appropriate season. But then curiosity got the better of me, and I just watched it.
Yeah.
But I would say I didn't love it nearly as much, or it would be in my top 50 or whatever, but I did really like it.
Yeah.
And I would say instant Halloween classic. You throw some jack-o'-lanterns in the back of your shot, and I'm a happy guy. They got a whole pumpkin patch in their backyard in this movie. I don't know why, but it's there.
I recommended this movie to some people, and it's like, and I saw some comments online where people were like, "What? That's ridiculous." And it's
I looked at some IMDb reviews, which I don't even know who posts there anymore because everyone posts on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
But IMDb, it was all like, I really liked it until the second half. I liked it until the second half. There's a lot of that.
Here's what I would tell people when watching one of my top films, my top 48 movies of all time. I'm going to push it up to top 25.
That's insane. That is absolute madness.
I really enjoyed it.
You're going to forget everything that happened in this movie in a week.
No. Lots of things are burned into my memory, and it was a rare time where I was actually creeped out by a horror movie and didn't roll my eyes and go, I know what you're doing. Like, there was...
You're just waiting for the stock.
Yeah.
Silence, and cue jump scare.
Right. And it's kind of, the house is so like decaying and in disrepair.
There's
gross
a
looking.
comical amount of pumpkins everywhere.
It's like a dream.
Yeah.
All the things that would normally read as cliches worked in this movie for some reason. And what I would tell people before they watch this is don't go in it with the sense of that it's going to be like totally grounded in reality. Go in with the sense that this is a horror fantasy.
Yeah.
It's
a fairy tale.
A fairy tale, exactly. From the child's perspective.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dream. It's like a child's waking nightmare. There's fantasy elements to it. It's not like 100% grounded in reality, and you can't kind of put those rules into it.
Yeah.
You have to just kind of like watch it with that mindset, and you won't get so like frustrated, because there are parts where I'm like, okay, why didn't this happen? The CinemaSins dings start going off in my head, and I'm like,
You mean the worst way to watch a movie?
yeah. Like, no. This is something else.
I knew the moment I think I realized I really loved this was there's a part when the kid is going down the stairs, and it's a wide shot of the stairs, and there's the silhouette of his parents just blasted against the wall in front of him, really huge. And it's like, that's not realistic, but it's so stylized that it sells the point of what the movie's going for.
And a normal problem with movies, any movie really, that I always laugh at, which I forgive in this because you can attribute it to the perspective of a child, is the comically large interior sets versus the exterior house.
Which we kind of joked about with *Malignant*, right?
Yeah, and like the Conjuring movies, any kind of horror movie, like whenever they have the kid's bedroom, it's like 1,500 square feet as opposed to like 100 or 10 by 12 room or a standard like bedroom size. And they show the outside of this house, and it's this tiny little farmhouse. And then like you walk in there, it's like 800-900 square feet. Maybe the upstairs, a couple of small bedrooms, but they walk in and it's this giant like foyer area.
Yeah. And then his bedroom, you see in the trailer, is that huge wide shot of his bedroom.
Right. And then the bathroom too. The bathroom's gigantic. In a house that old, the bathroom would be like
5 foot by 7 feet.
Yeah, exactly. You squeeze a tub and a toilet in there, and you couldn't. And it's just like the size of like the master bedroom in a house. But if you're looking at your house feels bigger when you're a little child.
And the weirdness of the parents kind of factors into that too. It reminded me, there's a couple movies that reminded me of it. I can't really explain because it'll spoil it. But one I think I can give away is the movie Parents with Randy Quaid. Have you ever seen that?
Long time ago.
A little kid's perspective, and he thinks his parents are cannibals. Yeah. And that's another one where it's all kind of told from his perspective. So everything's sort of like, weird canted angles and wide angle lenses, and everything feels off. And this movie captures that really well too.
Yeah.
Which is another thing for when the movie first started, and Lizzie Kaplan, I think, wakes up in bed, then he wakes up next to her. I was like, it's Homelander. I don't know if I can buy this guy as like generic dad. I picture like Patrick Wilson in the Insidious movies, and then like within 5 minutes, it's like, oh, never mind. I get it. I get why he was cast.
Yeah. Because he exudes evil creep man vibes.
Lizzie Kaplan, I mainly know her from Party Down, but she works really well in this too. She's got those big kind of expressive eyes, and there's a lot that's kind of, you have to infer what's going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really go into details of their relationship too much, so a lot of it is just sort of reading their performances and the way they talk to each other and their mannerisms. And although I've watched all the shows, this whole movie is TV actors, because you got Anthony Starr, Lizzie Kaplan, and his teacher in the movie. She was on a show on Fox called with Will Forte called The Last Man on Earth.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Very frustrating show because it was so all over the place in terms of being very creative and funny and then being really obnoxious. Okay. But she was on that show, so it's all TV actors.
Isn't that Will Forte in a nutshell?
That's true, yeah, pretty much.
Will Forte personified. It's the show.
That's his specialty. Forte. Specialty.
Oh! You could have just said that's his forte.
That was the joke, because it sounded like I was going to say that. And then I didn't say it.
Let's talk about the elephant in the wall. I mean the room. This has been a joke for us for a long time.
Yes. I think that's why people maybe would say, oh, you guys should watch this movie. It's such a it's everything you make fun of. It's full of cliches. And it's like, cliches exist for a reason, because when they're utilized well, they work. It all depends on how it's executed.
That's the thing, is like the jump scare, the build up to it shows the shot in the trailer where the doors open and like Lizzie Kaplan's there, but she's got like glowing eyes and she runs up.
It's a nightmare scene, yeah.
Yeah, and then and she jumps into the room and there's that exact beat.
Mom?
Well, in the trailer there is. In the movie, it's timed out a little differently.
Yeah, right.
It's all about like, you think that you know the timing and then it's off by just a few beats and it throws you off.
That and the idea of somebody living in the walls is just all these things that I would normally consider tired and overdone have been like reworked and executed with precision.
Well, you figure out pretty early on, you can really tell it from the trailer, but when you're watching the movie, within 10 minutes, you're like, oh, Person in the Walls movie. We're getting another Person in the Walls movie. Barbarian, The Boy. I don't know. We've obviously made fun of it. It's a cliche at this point. But the fact that you figure that out so early on in the movie, then your brain starts to think, okay, well, then there has to be more going on.
Well, you think the parents are like murderers?
Well, I was thinking of, have you ever seen People Under the Stairs?
Yeah.
It starts as People Under the Stairs, and then it turns into a Sam Raimi movie in the last act. In the best ways.
Yeah. I don't want to, I want to talk about like, you got the bully characters.
Played by a Busey.
Yes.
Little kid, there's another one.
Another what?
Another generation of Buseys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They just don't stop. Legacy artists.
Mm-hmm. Legacy artists, yep.
I recognize that Busey from a mile away. I mean, the kid goes to school and he draws the cliches, the creepy picture. Mm-hmm. Mommy, Daddy, Dad, but in this, it's like he's in this bedroom and it's like black everywhere and he's like, I'm scared.
It says like, help me.
Help me, yeah. And so the teacher takes interest in that and kind of confronts the parents, and the parents are just acting super weird. So it's a bit of like a red herring in the beginning. It's like, okay, they're psychopaths that are murdering people, but really they're covering up for something else that's going on, and a couple of nightmare sequences. See, that was my thing, is like when we did The Inside. Mm-hmm. It's like, here's how you do it. You have a couple of scenes where there's pointless nightmares, but then they wake up just to kind of fill time. But
I think that joke came out because that's exactly what happened in that Shut-In movie.
Yeah.
And they were like just random things that they thought would look creepy, and they didn't tie in with the story. Yeah. Here, when the kid's in his bed and he's dreaming about his parents being monsters, it ties in with his actual fears.
Yeah.
And they're executed in a way that's genuinely creepy. You panning across the room, and the dad's just like standing there, like that kind of stillness is always creepy. And then there's he's blinking his eyes heavily, and there's this overdone sound effects, like little things like that. They're just a little bit off, in a way where they're not like a typical Conjuring jump scare.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain why it works. It's almost like it's a matter of taste. It's like why do you like a song? You know? Why is one song really good and one isn't? You know, it's just like just the way it's done and how it kind of speaks to you or affects you. And this, I was like actually like frightened, which is just like unheard of.
Even during the third act. The third act is where it basically turns into schlock.
It was.
I liked it all, but I never found it terribly scary.
No, well, there's that one part where the kid gets pulled under the like piano bench or something or bed, and just like just a mess of blood comes out.
Sam Raimi guys.
And you're just like, what? Yeah. Like it just kept like whiplash back and forth of stuff that you didn't expect, and then there's the theme of spider and. There's a lot of spider-related imagery in this, but that's what the creature in the wall is. We won't give away what it is, but it's a person that has lived in the walls for so long they can contort their body and climb around like a spider and have adapted.
It has never had their hair cut, so it's really long and has kind of a cobwebby feel to it, yeah.
And so they've adapted to moving through potentially smaller spaces, up walls, and by... Maybe they're all double jointed everywhere and they can do that. But yeah, the thing is, it's like the editing, the presentation of the ending where the thing gets out and goes on a killing rampage it's like quick cuts. Like you see it for a second. It's kind of hidden. It's done.
Yeah.
It's not like Malignant. Look at the thing. It's doing a thing. Look at it. Isn't it? It was. They were almost trying to hide it, because that's what you would get is like little glimpses of it, and it was very like effective at killing. And,
Well, yeah, and like I said, kind of like a Sam Raimi movie, the style ratchets up as the movie goes along. So you get to that third act, and there's more like Dutch angles, camera's spinning around a lot more.
So who's the director?
His name's Samuel Bowden. I don't know anything about him. He did a Netflix series called Marianne, which I think I watched the first episode. I was like, that was pretty good. I'll get around to finishing it. And then I just never did. But it's similar, like very stylized and creepy from what I remember. But I don't know much about him. Kind of came out of nowhere, but...
Well, the worldwide take of this was like $3 million or something. Which...
Budget's probably 20 million, somewhere in there, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
15 million.
15, sure. With zero for advertising. But where do you even advertise anymore?
Well, and how do you advertise? I think that's like, I was thinking after the movie was over, because yeah, it has that kind of like feel of being from the kid's perspective. I was like, this would be a really great like gateway horror movie for younger people. Like when I was a kid, I watched movies like The Gate or Gremlins and stuff like that. And so I was surprised that it was rated R. There's some gore. That'd really be the only thing that's rated R. Like, this could have been PG-13.
Yeah.
It would have played to a wider audience. And then you have, like, that movie Megan that came out, which was PG-13. And so that did really well, because younger people could go see it. But that movie has virality. The creepy doll dances. Like, and that's all. People were just posting GIFs and memes of that. And this movie doesn't really have that, because you can't really give much away in the marketing.
I don't know. As a fan of this movie and of this kind of style, I'm okay with they didn't sacrifice the artistic integrity for gimmicks.
Sure, but I'm just in terms of like marketing and blowing the marketing of it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
They should have had Cobweb dance. It would have been the next sensation.
No, see, that's you're getting a little too cynical.
I'm getting cynical here. I'm just saying, like, the difference, like a movie like this, the lack of marketing didn't help. But also, I think that you see that trailer and it does look very like simple and cliched, and it doesn't have that thing about it that stands out in the marketing.
Yes,
like a Megan dancing.
The trailer is a very well edited trailer, but it is littered with things that are so familiar. And I see the knocking on the walls. I'm like, okay, and skeptical, but then it was so well done. And I think, I'm assuming the R rating came from just the explosion of blood that came out from underneath the thing.
Yeah, because the rest of the movie up until that point is pretty low key and pretty like minimal. So,
but it's like, well, okay, do we cut that out? And then to me, that's like one of the moments that sticks out in my memory. So I'm glad they didn't.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't go soft on it. And it maybe they are banking on just a very long-term word of mouth kind of situation,
Well, that's, like I said, that, have it in theaters in July, so it's out on VOD or whatever for the fall, for September, October.
Yeah, I mean, it could have a long legs in the VOD arena.
I was thinking a little bit of Trick or Treat while watching it. Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat, which is another movie that is very, like, Halloween-centric, lots of Halloween atmosphere, and was just completely botched in its release. But it's had a long life after the fact, so now you can get a little Sam from Trick or Treat figures that speared Halloween, and so maybe that'll happen with Cobweb. I don't know. One of the better Halloween movies. It has more like atmosphere, more Halloween kind of aesthetic and atmosphere than those recent David Gordon Green Halloween movies.
Right.
And those have Halloween in the title.
And there were bullies.
Yeah.
Broke his pumpkin.
I was thinking of the original Halloween. Yeah, that always made me sad in that movie when little Tommy Doyle gets his pumpkin busted, and it happens again here.
Boogeyman's coming. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. That happens to this. He smashes pumpkin.
Yeah. Again, though, with the child's perspective, it is funny that he's a little bully. Then he shows up at the end at the house with a group of other bigger bullies. It's very like unrealistic, and that's fine for the tone of the movie.
Well, he gets his older brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go get this kid. And then they just like break into their house.
You could look at it cynically and just be like, oh, well, they had to have a body count at the end of the movie, but
it worked.
Little kid scared of bullies, scared of his parents, scared of his house, and it all comes crashing down on him at the end.
Yeah, the only person he trusts is his teacher, and she's there to help. And Lizzie Kaplan's gutting a pumpkin like a psychopath. All those little touches,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if it was like my expectations were lowered because I thought it was just going to be sort of a flat kind of atmospheric horror movie that really didn't do much with the cliches it was filled with. But this takes all the cliches and somehow makes them work. And I don't know, wouldn't call it silliness. I was into it. It was like a thrill ride.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like you said, ghosts. What is it, ghosts? And then I'm like, when it's not ghosts, then it's something on the walls. And it was. But damn, they knew how to make a thing on the walls movie.
Yeah.
Let's go out and check it out.
Yeah.
Get caught in that cobweb. That's your marketing. Are you gonna get caught? Cobweb.
And Cobweb dances. That's what you need. Everyone, if you want your movie or your TV show to be popular, you gotta have somebody dancing it.
You gotta have a TikTok challenge.
You gotta have a TikTok dance.
Get caught.
Wednesday Addams, Megan.
Get caught in the cobweb. Show your latest TikTok video of you getting caught in the cobweb.
The TikTok Cobweb Challenge.
Oh, I'm caught in the cobweb.